Hey, what's going on, everybody? Roll this up. I got something on the Bible to read for you guys today. And basically, this message is going to be titled, Someone is Looking for You. So, there's a story in the Bible where, what's his name? Mephibosheth is his name. Was a young boy. It was in the house of Saul and Jonathan. And now we know that King David made a covenant with Jonathan, basically like when David takes over and there's anyone left in his house, any children or anyone in his bloodline, that David would take care of them. And David agreed to this and made a covenant with Jonathan over it. Now, we know that God is a covenant God, and to those who are his children, his elect, according to the blood of Christ and his righteousness, he can neither leave us nor forsake us. Someone's looking for you. Now, the message I have behind this is that God will honor a covenant with his children. He will never leave you and he'll never forsake you. Sometimes when it seems like things are getting really troubling, we're praying for the situation to change, God might say, I'm not going to change that situation because I sent that situation to change you. Now, when we see the story of Mephibosheth, when the war was going on, when King David the big battle started happening, Mephibosheth's nurse took him and they ran to a city, and she ended up dropping Mephibosheth and basically making him lame in his legs. But sorry, excuse me. She ran through the battlefield, dropped him, went all the way through, and then turned around to go get him and pick him up and bring him to the city. Now, sometimes you might be going through a situation in life to make you strong enough to go back into a storm. Yes, you go through a storm to go back into the storm to be able to pull someone out of the storm. You know, we can all think of times when we went through struggles or hardships and we dealt with them, we faced them in faith, and we came out stronger because of it, and we're able to help others because of it. You know, sometimes God sends us a storm to strengthen us so we can be able to go back into the storm to pull others out. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to repeat myself here. But if you are a child of God and you are under a covenant with God and you are an elect child of God, someone's looking for you. You know, you might be going through a hard time. You might think that there's no end to your path, but someone is looking for you. Now, what I want to read here is 2 Samuel chapter 9. And chapter 9 is it's titled David's Kindness. And it said, and David said, is there any yet that is left in the house of Saul that I may show him my kindness for Jonathan's sake? And there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. Now, Ziba means an appointed one. So this is someone who was appointed by God to let David know that there is someone left in the house of Saul that he could show his kindness to for Jonathan's sake because he had made a covenant with him. Now, a covenant is a promise that won't be broken. Servant name was Ziba, and they called him unto David, and the king said unto him, Art thou Ziba? And he said, Thy servant name is he. And the king said, Is there not any yet of the house of Saul that I may show the kindness of God unto him? This is David showing the kindness of God, keeping a covenant, because covenant is what God is all about. And Ziba said unto the king, Jonathan hath yet a son, which is lame on his feet. And the king said to him, Where is he? And Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he is in the house of my car, the son of Amiel and Lodabar. Now, Lodabar, that place, Lodabar means barren. It's a place where nothing grows. Now, in our life, we might seem that we're in a season of just barrenness, where nothing's growing, where we're stuck, where it's not being fruitful, where just everything we see around us is dead and dry and just completely barren. Someone's looking for you. Then King David sent and fetched him out of the house of Micah, son of Amel, from Lodabar. Now, when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face and did reverence. And David said, Mephibosheth, and he answered, Behold my servant. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show you the kindness for Jonathan's Jonathan's thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul thy father, and thou shalt eat the bread of my table continually. And he bowed himself and said, What is thy servant that thou shouldest look upon such a dead dog as I am? See, now, he was in a place that was barren, that, nothing grow from it. And when we're in a place that is barren, nothing can grow. Sometimes, we could be in a place where we isolate ourselves and we got no growth around us, and we start to wonder, like, what can God do with us? We're just in a place where we're completely worthless. But if you're a child of God, you're under covenant. Someone's looking for you. God will show you his kindness and his mercy. Sometimes we can be in a place where, like, I am such a dog, I am a heathen, what would God want to do with me? Then the king of Ziba, Saul's servant, then the king called Ziba, Saul's servant, and said unto him, I have given unto thy master's son all that pertained to Saul and his house. Thou therefore and thy sons and thy servants shall till the land for him, and they shall bring in the fruits, that thy master's son may have food and eat. But Mephibosheth, thy master's son, shall eat bread always at my table. Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then said Ziba unto the king, According to all that my lord the king hath commanded his servant, so shall thy servants do. As from Mephibosheth, said the king, he shall eat at my table as one of the king's sons. Now again, this was someone who was taken away, dropped, made lame in a land that was barren, where nothing grew, where he didn't grow, where he was made stagnant completely. But yet, David said, I will show him the kindness of the Lord. If you are an elect child of God, you are under a covenant. And if you think that you're in a place where there's no growth, nothing happened to you, someone's looking for you. And Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah, and all that dwelt in the house of Ziba were servants unto Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth dwelt in Jerusalem, and he did eat continually at the king's table, and he was lame on both of his feet. So, sometimes we're in a place where we feel like we're not growing, we feel like God can't use us, but according to Christ's righteousness and blood, God can neither leave us nor forsake us. We are under covenant. We are children of God. And there's times where we could be completely isolated and barren and in a place where we feel like we have no growth. And, the enemy can come and whisper to us and become a thorn in our flesh and make us feel like we're not enough, we're not good enough. But you are a child of God. You are under covenant. And if you feel like you're alone and you feel like you're misplaced and that God has no use for you, someone is looking for you. You are under covenant. You are a child of God. I pray you guys have ears to hear. I'll give you this seed, and may the Lord do with it as he wills. May the Lord be with his children. God bless.